Good afternoon, students, and welcome to today's session about the business analytics, in which we will see about the utility and decision making. That is lecture number 31 in unit 5. So, what is utility? Utility is monetary value which is not indicating true value, and it is also used in for the value of the overall result of decision. The overall result of decision is called utility. So we will see the outline of today's lecture, that is utility and decision making. After that, utility theory. Monetary value is not always true indicator of the overall value of result of decision. The overall value of decision is called utility. So it is known as utility theory. So it is most important, which is basically used in the decision making in business analytics. So rational people make decisions to maximize their utility. So many people also work on the decisions. They are taking the decisions based on their maximum utility. So they are maximizing the profit using utility theory. Should we buy collision insurance on the expensive car? So suppose we are buying the new expensive car, and there is we have to purchase one type of insurance, that is one type of utility which is used in the new expensive car. So this is the example of utility theory. Buying the insurance removes the gamble. So if we buy the one type insurance for the new car, it is one type of gambling. So we are removing the gambling, but usually the premium is greater than the expected cost of damage. So premium value will be more if we purchase the expected cost of the car. So expected damage cost for the car. So this is the example of utility theory. Utility theory allows you to incorporate your own attitudes towards risk. So utility theory also plays important roles in the attitudes, as well as it removes the risk in the decision making analysis. Many people would take $2 lakh or even less. So many people also use $2 lakh or less rather than flip the coin. Suppose we are flipping the coin, so there are two outputs, head and tail. Even though the EMV stands for expected monetary value, which is also important in decision making as well as in utility theory. A person's utility function could change over the time. So person's utility function will change if we change the time. So as time passes, utility function of person also changes. Example, $100 as a student or $100 as a CEO of a company, which can be used as a utility function in decision tree analysis. Assign utility values to each monetary value. So we are assigning the utility values to each monetary value in the situation which completely subjective. So it is subjective in nature, and it is most important work in the monetary value. So if we increase the monetary value, then utility curve also increases. If we decrease the monetary value, then utility curve also decreases. Utility assessment assign the worst case. So there are two outcomes, worst case and the best case. In the worst case, we will assign the value 0. In the best case, we will assign the value 1. So there are two probability value for utility theory, worst case 0 and best case 1. A standard gamble is used to determine utility values. So one type of standard gamble is used, which is most important, and it determines the utility values in utility theory. P is the probability of obtaining the best outcome. So P is one type of probability function which is used to obtain the best outcome. If the best outcome used, then we will assign the utility value 1. If worst outcome used, then we will assign the value 0. 1 minus P is the worst outcome which is used as an utility function in decision theory. Utility curve. Next topic is about the utility curve. What is utility curve? The risk avoider gets less utility from greater risk. If more risk is there, then we have to get the less risk, and risk avoider will avoid the all type of risk in the utility curve. Avoid situations where high losses might occur. So if high loss occurs in the situation, then we have to avoid that type of situations in the decision making in business analytics. As monetary value increases, the utility curve increases at slower rate. So if we increase the monetary value, that is expected value of the any product, then the utility curve also increases at slower rate. A risk seeker gets more utility from greater risk. If greater risk is avoided, then the risk seeker will get more utility from that curve. As the monetary value increases, the utility curve increases at a faster rate. So in risk seeker, monetary value if we increase, then the utility curve increases faster. If the monetary value decrease, then utility curve will decrease at the faster rate. So this is about the utility curve. Here shown in the figure, where utility curve is there, in x-axis there is a monetary outcome, and in y-axis there is a utility function. There are three function is used: risk avoider, risk influence, and risk seeker. So risk avoider, which avoids the less risk and greater risk. So if we do greater risk, then it avoids the utility function. Risk seeker, if more monetary value increases, risk curve also increases at faster rate. If monetary value is decreases, utility curve also decreases with risk seeker value. So this is the graph which is shown of, that is the showing of utility curve. Now we will see how utility function as a decision making criteria. Once a utility curve has been developed, once we have developed the utility curve by using risk avoider, risk infrastructure, and risk seeker, now we will use it is also used in making decision. What type of decisions will be available, and how it is playing important role in decision making criteria. Replace monetary outcomes with the utility value. So there is a utility value, and we have to replace that monetary outcomes. The monetary outcomes which are going will be replaced by utility value. If the best outcome is there, then we will replace with utility value 1. If worst outcome is, then we will replace with utility value 0. This is the most important criteria in decision making, and how it is playing important role in utility theory. The expected utility is commuted instead of the EMV. So we will calculate the expected value of utility instead of EMV. EMV stands for expected monetary value. So we will not calculate expected monetary value, but we will calculate the expected utility function, which plays important role in decision making as well in the business analytics. Now we will see about the constructing a utility function, how we can create the utility function. The first step in determining a utility function is to rank the other payoffs from highest to lowest. So my first step is that in utility function we have to make the ranking of the payoffs. Payoff means it is one type of function, that is it can be in the terms of cost, price, time, or distance. It is from the highest, it takes the highest value to the lowest value. It is constructing the one type of utility function. That is the first step of constructing the utility function. We assign the utility value 1 to the highest payoff. So if best outcome is there, or the value of the payoff in the payoff table, it should be highest, then we will replace monetary value to utility value 1. If the payoff value is lowest, then we replace utility value to 0 in the payoff table for constructing the utility function. Suppose you have the opportunity of achieving the guaranteed return of X. So there is we have the opportunity, and we are guaranteed that value X will return once we are receiving the highest payoffs. What are the highest payoffs, and what is the probability of that in the lowest payoffs, with the probability 1 minus P. So P is the probability for calculating the highest payoff or highest value in the utility function, and lowest payoff with probability value 1 minus P. If P is value, then 1 is used as a utility function, that is best case. If a worst case is there, then utility function 0 is used as a probability function. So this is about the constructing the utility function, and how utility function plays important role in decision making analysis. So this is the figure shown where we are constructing the utility function. Risk averse investor, there is a curve. In x-axis there are values of rupees, that is in dollars, and in y-axis there is a utility. If we increases the utility curve,
monetary value, then utility curve also increases at faster rate. If we decrease the monetary value, then utility value also decreases with slower rate. Risk averser investor plays important role in constructing the utility function. So there are different values, and it is peak value is $1,50,000 for the utility curve. Now we see the exponential function as a utility function. It can be rather difficult to compute the utility function. So in exponential function, utility function is difficult to calculate, and especially it plays important role in the large number of payoff value. If large number of payoff value, then it is difficult for utility function to calculate the exponential value. If small values of their payoffs means like price, cost, time or distance is plays important role, then exponential value is easy to play in utility function, because most decisions makers are using the risk averters. So risk averters plays important role in making the decisions, and we can use expected value as an utility function which approximate the true utility function. Utility function is also important and plays the important role for the utility function. Exponential utility function formula is to calculate is ux equal to 1 minus e raised to minus x by r, where e is the base of the natural logarithm. So value of e is 2.71828 and r is the shape parameter. So it is calculating the utility curve as an exponential curve, and r is what type of shape it is doing, and it is measuring the risk tolerance in business analytics in decision making. So risk tolerance also play important role in utility function as an exponential way. Notice that all these functions are concave. So all functions are concave. So graph will be concave, and if value of r increases, function also flatters. So function of value will flatter. If r decreases, function will go curve, which indicates more tendency toward the risk neutrality. So that is important, and how it is playing the exponential in utility function. So this is about today's lecture. Thank you, student. Stay tuned for further lecture series. In next lecture, we will see we will start with unit 6, that is recent trends. What type of recent trends are going on in business analytics, and after that we will see about the data storylism, data journalism. So these are the recent trends.